Hey, Thunderbolts. We are here with our Day 2 recap of E3 2015. I'm Georgie Menace from Dualshockers.com. I'm here with Mr. Steven Santana.
Hello.
And first time on an Impressions video. Hey, Ryan Meitzer, how are you?
Can I go to bed now?
No, you cannot. Yeah, Day 2 of E3, we saw some things. I had a very hands-off day seeing demos for Metal Gear Solid, XCOM, Deus Ex, but you got to play things. So what did you play today, Steve?
I finally got to get my hands onto Gigantic, which was an offhands demo yesterday, but after seeing it offhands, I was really excited about actually getting to play it. So I was able to go up to the Gigantic booth and actually play around, which lasted about 20 minutes. And it was really good. It's definitely MOBA-esque in the way that you're pushing the lanes down, basically to get to the enemy side of the map and basically just kill their Guardian, which is the main thing for Gigantic, which is these gigantic Guardians, and that's kind of like the main feature that they have. And they fight, and the characters duel as well, and you're leveling up, and you're getting your skills. So it's very much like that action RPG competitive element to it. But I really enjoyed it, so I've already signed up for the beta, and I really hope I get into it so I can play more of it in August.
What else you say?
I also went to the Xseed Games booth. They had a bunch of smaller type games, like nothing that's like, you know, gonna break anybody's mind or anything, but I played basically Senran Kagura Estivus Versus, which is a very strange title, but it's another entry in the Senran Kagura, which is kind of like the stereotypical like boobs and like panty shots type Japanese game that you would expect out of a small publisher in Japan. Then I also played Earth Defense Force, which is basically a B movie where aliens are invading, but the aliens actually turn out to be insects, and they're giant insects. And of course, you have to blow them up. And while you're blowing them up, though, you're actually kind of blowing up the entire world as well. So you're like destroying buildings and overpasses and railways and stuff. And that was a lot of fun. I played as the Ranger class, which is kind of your standard soldier. But I also got to play as basically this woman with a jetpack, and that one was a lot of fun because it's a lot more mobile. You can get up on the rooftops, and she had a plasma cannon that did massive damage.
Jetpacks and bugs, I'm all about that. Mr. Ryan Meisler, what did you see today? You were excited. You were rushing me through some things because you were like, George, we gotta go see Mighty Number 9. I'm like, you can go see it. I'm good. So Ryan, please tell me about Mighty Number 9. Is it good?
Well, first answer is yes, obviously, of course. So yeah, I get to check out Mighty Number 9, which is, if you don't know, it's a kickstarted game from Keiji Inafune, who many will know as the creator of Mega Man. So he's the producer on this game. It's coming from a developer called Comcast, and it is Comcept. Sorry, not Comcast. Comcast is a cable provider. Comcept is the developer, and Deep Silver is publishing it. So basically, at a glance, it's very reminiscent of Mega Man. It plays pretty similarly. It's a 2D platformer that's kind of more classically inclined. Very difficult. It's very hard. But they've done some kind of things to sort of switch up the formula, so it's very momentum heavy, which is basically in order to kill enemies or defeat enemies, you shoot them with your blaster, but then you also have a dash attack. So you basically sort of have to, kind of like in Halo when you take down someone's shield and then you can melee them or something like that. It's kind of a similar feel to that. So basically you use your blaster to stun them, and then you use your dash to take them out. And so the game rewards you by basically trying to string together combos of defeating enemies as fast and as quickly as you can and most effectively. But then there's other components too, like trying to complete levels in the fastest time, taking how much damage you've taken, and that all kind of goes into a score. So it's going to be a competition sort of thing where it's like how effectively and quickly you can get through a level.
And playing it, did it feel like the true successor of a Mega Man?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it's been quite a while since we've had proper Mega Man games, and the series has been kind of quiet for a while. So seeing this new game that feels very much like the Mega Man series, but the developers and I actually did an interview with one of the producers of the game, Nick Yu. They said they're honored that they are getting comparisons to Mega Man, but they want this obviously to be its own thing, and they want it to be kind of its own original idea. And so far, it definitely seems like that, while still staying true to the Keiji Inafune's work on Mega Man.
And we also saw Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. We had a hands-off demo. Looked pretty good. Adam Jensen's back. He still didn't ask for this, but the demo we saw, it goes off the ending where augmented people went crazy, or most of them. So now like humanity has kind of split them off and thrown them into ghettos, and there's this weird kind of like classism happening within the augmented community, where it's like you have the have-nots who have like the ghetto cybernetics, and then you have like the 1% who's like, oh, you're shiny and stuff.
Yeah,
but
it's basically just kind of like, like, oh, my biotics are better than yours, basically, is more or less what it comes down to.
But yeah, we saw, and we also had an interview with Stefan Ra, the executive producer, and he went through a lot of things there, and the game is still pretty open, so you can go in with your stealth approach or guns blazing, but they were really pushing they want you to play stealth, and the one thing he brought up was they listened to the criticism that, like, yeah, you could play stealth, but the bosses were really hard if you went that route. So they said, like, the game is adjusted to how you play. So if you wanted to go guns blazing, the boss fights are set for that. Or if you wanted to do stealth or, find a sneakier way around things, there you have options, which was good. And then I also saw a demo of Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain, where we got to look at the open world, where basically without a main mission, you can kind of just drop in the middle of Afghanistan and, just go do stuff. You kind of go to points of interest. And we also got to take a look at the buddy system. So in this demo, we got D-Dog.
Oh, yes.
And we put him in a sneaking suit. It was super adorable. And he also had a stun knife. And you can, there's be a dude over there, and you could be like, D, go get him. And he takes the knife out of the sheath, and then he runs up to the guy and stuns him in the face. It's pretty amazing.
I didn't have that.
Yeah, and then they also show there's also the D-Horse that, if you want to get around that way, and you can also bring vehicles and stuff with you, which was really cool. So the demo we looked at was you're looking for a Russian interpreter, because once you're dropped in, you don't understand what they're saying, so there are no subtitles there. So once you acquire him, and by acquiring him, you put the balloon on him, he flies away back to Mother Base, and once that happens, hey, everyone knows Russian, and you know what they're talking about, and then now you are able to interrogate, see what they're saying, and then they'll drop hints for you. But a really impressive demo. I was surprised with the level of customization on there, and they're going big with this game. It's we always joke about being like Peace Walker on crack, but yeah, it is getting there. It is really big, and just the weapon customization was just staggering. Where it's just there are no restrictions on. It's like, yeah, if you want to put a sniper scope on a pistol, why would you do that? I don't know, but you could do it anyway. You can pimp out the colors of the gun. It's really neat. And you can get custom music you put in your helicopter. Yeah, there was just a lot to absorb. So, but yeah, Metal Gear looks really good. Also saw some brief Hitman gameplay. They're really stressing the fact that they want to. It's just Hitman now, and there's no context to what it is. You're just doing Hitman missions, and they alluded to the fact that it's going to be kind of an ever evolving sort of contracts mode. So basically, there's going to be like timed assassinations missions done by Square Enix, saying like, hey, you're going to have one opportunity to kill this guy. If you don't do it, you'll never see him in your game ever again. You'll never be able to play that mission. And it'll take into account that like people are going to be able to create contracts. And they were like, yeah, 30 million people made special contracts in Absolution, and they want to bring that back into this game. So yeah, so it just looks like you're just going to drop in your Agent 47, find really extravagant ways of murdering dudes. And one level there, you had to kill this guy during a fashion show, and like, oh, you could sneak in, take an axe, chop him in the face, which is like kind of inelegant, or you can just rig the chandeliers to blow up as he's going down the runway, and chandeliers fall on. And anytime you can drop chandeliers on a really bad dude, I'm all about that. But yeah, I think that I also got a hands-on with Wasteland, which is a really crazy good CRPG coming to the console, so I got to play the Xbox One version. Look for a write-up for that, just because way too deep to get into right now. But yeah, there was plenty of things to cover. I was really impressed on day 2, just super busy walking around. Ryan, any parting words?
Well, yeah, actually, I have one more game if we want to talk about it really quick, which I closed out my day with Rise of the Tomb Raider, which was probably the highlight of my day, which was the one I was looking forward to most. So yeah, obviously, sequel to the 2013 Tomb Raider, so it kind of continues that story. But yeah, and basically the demo that we got to see, it was hands-off, but we saw a pretty good amount of gameplay. I saw probably about half hour to 45 minutes worth of gameplay, so it was pretty long. And basically we kind of got to see more of what we saw in the E3 gameplay reveal, which was that kind of, it's Siberia, and so Lara gets stranded from her group, and so the demo basically is like, okay, now she needs to find shelter, she needs to find, she needs to make a fire, she needs to do all that, which kind of led into the new sort of crafting upgrades they're implementing and resource gathering that they're bringing. So just to go around, collect things, hunt animals for resources and things like that. And then that also ties into the environments where, like she has a little bit more interaction with the environment this time around. Like they showed her being able to climb trees so she could Batman dudes and drop down on them, which is pretty awesome. She basically becomes Katniss in this game. So yeah, and then finally it closed out with there was a bear fight, which is pretty cool. She got to fight a bear by shooting poison arrows in its face and then shooting it with more arrows, which was pretty. I know it was tough to watch, but it was pretty cool. And then it closed out with one of the new tomb levels, which are the new optional sort of like levels that Laura can go into. And those are a bit more like puzzle oriented, so she has to explore, she has to find certain things to unlock new areas, and they're really creepy. The one that we saw had she had to go through this tunnel filled with scorpions, and so they were just it was yeah, it was pretty tough to watch, but the game looks incredible. I really I don't have an Xbox One, but I would probably want one now after seeing it. It looks great.
So it's good to see Tomb Raider finally have tombs.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I think Steven, anything else back of your head thinking there? I saw a lot today, so I feel like I missed out on a bunch of stuff. I have it all written down where I've got a ton of write-ups to do. But anything else you see today, or what?
No, I mean.
Say something. Has E3 Day 2 impressed you?
Nothing big. It did impress me. Yeah, there's nothing super big. I just want to go and just start working on it. Man, I'm tired.
Yeah, we have plenty of work to do. We got to do our podcast and talk about our recap. Mr. Jason Tinley saw some stuff today, but he's manning the camera. You're doing good, Jason. Just stand there. You're fantastic. But yeah, this was our Day 2 recap with George Jimenez, Steven Santana, and Ryan Meitzler. Thank you. Keep it here for our extensive E3 2015 coverage. Bye.